And welcome back to the Shoe in this presentation of the South Atlantic Conference on the Bears Sports Network. Second time in 3 nights we've been here to watch Lenoir-Rhyne's volleyball team take on a conference opponent, and Tuesday night was historic for the Bears. The first time since 2016 they took down Wingate. Tonight they have a less formidable foe, at least on paper, in the Coker Cobras. Eric Bach and Chris Rickenbaugh, happy to have you along with us here on a Thursday night from the Shoe. But Chris, Tuesday night was as good as it gets if you're a Lenoir-Rhyne student-athlete volleyball player winning a closely contested, dramatic match against your rival in Wingate. But tonight the Bears have to avoid a hangover because you know Coker is going to give them their very best.
Oh, absolutely, Eric. We saw Tuesday night, Taylor Prawl told me yesterday it was the most nerve-wracking game she's ever played of volleyball. So you know how high or such high intensity that game was played. And a couple of her stats led the board in kills, aces, blocks, and digs. 9 kills, 3 aces, 2 blocks, and 19 digs. And you might as well add 2 assists on it too. She had herself a night, and we know she still has it. She's leading her team in kills as well with 62 overall for season, and that rounds to about 3 kills per set. And Colette Romp is right with her there at 41, Braylon Faust at 30, and Elena Thomas at 29. And I can think that we're going to see a lot of the same things tonight with Taylor Prawl letting them swing. Not a whole lot of blocks on the defensive side by this Coker Cobras team. So expect a big night for the hitters here in Taylor Prawl.
Yeah, it was a weird statistical game with Wingate because it was a 5-set match, and there were no Bears in double digits for kills. Like, if you looked at the box score and you didn't know the result, you would have maybe thought that the Bears were in some big trouble looking at the stats. So it was a perfectly rounded team effort to take down Wingate, and it was a bizarre match with the two teams splitting the first 2 sets. Wingate absolutely crushing the Bears 25-5 in the 3rd set. And then the Bears coming right back and doing the same in the 4th set to Wingate, 25-6, and then 15-12 in the 5th. But shifting the focus to tonight, Coker's had a bit of a struggle to start the season. 1-5 overall. They've lost 4 in a row. They have already played Wingate as well. That's their only conference match, and lost that one. They got swept by the Bulldogs. But talked to Mark Wimberly, the interim head coach, before the game, and he was a little bit concerned with just the, I guess, lack of intensity that he was feeling from his team. But warm-ups seemed to be pretty sharp, and they seemed to be pretty locked in. He said he was hoping that warm-ups proved that, and I think it has. But, you know, Coker comes in with nothing to lose, and everything to gain tonight. And the Bears, it would be great for them to start the league season 2-0. So, it's one of those situations where anything can happen. Everything to gain for Coker and everything to lose for the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a scary team to play with nothing to lose. So early in the season, too. Coker just really hasn't found themselves yet. Chelsea Bloom is their leading player with 52 kills on the season, about 2.5 per set. Had 3 blocks against Converse, their only win of the season. And really expecting them to kind of come out and maybe they're going to give LR something they haven't seen. But on the LR side, what we have seen, they can get the job done in the 5th set. They're not afraid to take it to extra sets, and we saw that last night and in the, I believe, three games so far this year going into that 5th set.
The Bears have won 3 matches in a row, and all of them have been in 5 sets.
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing coming into tonight is the Bears, they have to get ahead early. They can't get behind and limit their errors. They had 22 Tuesday night against Wingate, and that really held them back. Only in the 3rd set, they got walloped. Only 4 kills or 4 points in that entire set, but then they came back in the next one and evened it out and closed it out in the 5th. So really staying ahead and not getting behind is going to be the biggest thing for them tonight.
All-time series between LR and Coker is a huge advantage for the Bears, 18-3. They've won 5 in a row. The last time that LR lost to Coker was back in 2017, and they played in the spring season. Coker only got 8 matches in. They were plagued by COVID in the spring season, and They went 2-6 in those 8 matches, and one of those 6 was at the hands of the Bears, a clean sweep back in early March. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bears respond to the biggest win of a lot of their careers. They had a lot of seniors come back for this COVID year. Taylor Prawl, one of them. Rachel Buick, the libero who was on Bears Talk Live earlier today, also one of those people that could have ended their volleyball career here after the spring season, but because the NCAA granted all the waivers because of the pandemic, they're back. And Tuesday night was a lot of the reason why they came back, but you don't want to sour that and spoil that if you're the Bears by playing poorly tonight and losing a game you shouldn't to Coker.
Yeah, I remember my freshman year coming in and seeing a couple of these ladies and thinking, man, they must be seniors. They're just that dominant, so well, so good on the court. And they're coming back for their 5th year.
Yeah.
So it's I know that's not what the rest of the SAC competition wanted to see, but now they're stuck with it, and I think LR's bound for a really big run this season.
So we'll talk about starting lineups after the national anthem. We got about 30 seconds until lineups and anthem here at the Shoe. Got some SAC volleyball for you on a Thursday night from Lenoir-Rhyne.
Number 5, Michaela Harris. Number 16, number 9, Kendall Bolin. Number 10, Taylor Porker. Number 13, Ashley Corson. Number 14.
Starting lineups right now here at Schuford Gymnasium on the campus of Lenoir-Rhyne University. Just moments away from first serve between LR and the Coker Cobras. Let's go through the starting lineups for Coker first. Number 2, Ramey Mullen, senior from Harrisburg, North Carolina. Number 4, Chelsea Bloom, junior from Somerville, South Carolina. Number 8, Emily Everton, senior from Moore, South Carolina. Number 11, Carson Fuller, junior from Wilmington, North Carolina. Number 12, Lauren Loveday, sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee. 15, Naomi Earl Reyes, freshman from Grovetown, Georgia. And the libero is Alex Williams, a sophomore from West Columbia, South Carolina. I don't actually have the LR starting lineup, but we will in just one moment.
And now for the starters for your Bears from Tip City, Ohio. Number 4, Taylor.
Obviously, Taylor Prawl gets the start. She was a pretty secure pencil into the lineup. Ashley Hawkins, Colette Romp also starts. Rachel Buick will start at libero. Emma Clark will start as well. Raylan Faust, who had a really nice game the other night. Bunch of blocks. Hit 382 in the 4-game tournament down in Florida, which is unheard of. I used the analogy the other night. You kind of equate hitting percentage to batting average in baseball. And 382, for those baseball fans out there, is phenomenal. And it's the same for the hitting percentage. She's cooled off a little bit after Tuesday night, but still well securely in the 300s as Faust in the hitting percentage. There's the Bears. Picked up a huge win. They were picked 5th in the preseason conference poll, but took down the team that was picked first here Tuesday night. Crowd was rocking. Crowd's not quite as big, at least right now, as it was to start the other night, but still a good amount of fans. It's only the second event indoors that we've had since the pandemic started with fans. I mean, you were here pre-pandemic when there were fans here, and obviously lived through the pandemic in Hickory, Chris, but got to feel good to have some fans back in the shoe.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling from last season where we had it all, or had all the bleachers rolled back, lots of space on the court. We even had stuffed bears filling the stands for a few of the games. That was a nice donation and nod from Lenoir-Rhyne. And, it's so good to see the fans back as we're about to start right now, and there's the first serve.
First chance for Colette Romp. She had a nice game the other night. Also picked up a yellow card as Coker picks up the first point on the misplay there by the Bears. But, it was a pretty sluggish start for the Bears and didn't get a great first set.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect really anything different coming off a really big game. You're either going to see a team that's very, very hyped up, or you're going to see the team kind of take their time and really wait to get into the game. And I think that's what we're seeing right now as Rachel Buick watches one head outside the line. So that's going to give the ball to Lenoir-Rhyne, and we're going to see Ashley Hawkins for the first serve for the Bears.
11 digs against Wingate. There's another point for Coker. They get it right back. It's Lauren Loveday on the outside with a kill. Sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee.
It's going to be really important for Coker to get out to a big start. Putting Lenoir-Rhyne into a box and putting them down a couple points, we saw the other night, that's really, really big for the other team. And because Lenoir-Rhyne starts playing with a little bit of intensity and they start getting out of character. And I think we've seen that a little bit here just in the first couple as they get that point on the board. Rachel Buick will be back to serve. Bears down 2-3 early in this one.
Talked to Rachel today on Bears Talk Live. She had a really interesting conversation. That's Naomi Earl Reyes, second on the team, and kills coming in with a nice southpaw swing there, and the score is 4-2 Coker here in the early going. There's lost the first set. There's Prahl's first swing, gets sent back by that front line, but there's a kill for Romp as it falls between two Cobras. But Taylor Prahl said the other night that it was obvious how much Wingate had catered their defensive game plan to her, and I would imagine that most everyone the Bears will play will do the same.
And funny thing, she still scored the most. So we know Taylor Prahl still has it. That was very clear from the other night, and I think we're expecting her to take a lot of big swings tonight with Coker just not being that great of a defensive team as they are coming out strong on that defensive side so far today.
A great defensive play there by Chelsea Bloom. Leads the team with 52 kills, but had a really nice block there. It's 5-3 Cobras here in the first set. Trying to get that scoreboard figured out. Ashley Carson comes in off the bench to serve. Good tip chance there by Halsey. Couldn't quite get it to fall, and there's Prahl where she likes it there on that left side.
Feel like a broken record. Taylor Prawl can just about do it all. Setting, hitting, with a big swing right there. Just not getting it down, but that one's going to do it. Bears up to 4 points.
2 big swings in a row there for TP, and the second one found the gym floor.
If they swing enough, they're going to get it to go down. Only 1.2 blocks per set for Coker in the past few, or in their entire season so far. So that's why I keep saying for Lenoir-Rhyne to take these chances and create big swings. Don't put it all on the setters, as we see a crafty play there by Mackenzie Holsey.
She was good the other night, too. She's the setter. They play with a couple setters, but she's the main setter. Junior from Sanford, NC. As Prawl serves it. We're all tied at 5 here in the first set. Nice dig there by Prawl, and a poke. It's down. Holsey with a crafty little move there, and the Bears have their first lead at 6-5 here in the first set.
Taylor Prawl back to serve.
One a little bit wide.
Yeah.
Looked like it was on the line, but Faust can't believe it. She has her mouth wide open like, wow, that probably should have been a kill for her, but it's a point to Coker, 6-6.
It was a close one, and I can see how she'd argue it, but I thought it was a bit outside too. She's going to take a big swing right back at him. Put the Bears ahead.
Now serving for the Bears, number 14, Brittany Faust.
In one set in Florida, she hit 667, Faust.
Wow.
2 out of every 3 swings she took resulted in a point for the Bears. That's unheard of.
Yeah, if you don't know a lot about volleyball or baseball, anything over 500 is really, really good.
Well, anything over 300 is really good. 500 is crazy. There's Alana Thomas. She had a good game the other night, too, and picks up her first kill of the night. Thomas, a senior from Greenville, NC. Went to the same high school as Rachel Buick, also a native of Greenville. 8-6 Bears as Faust still serves. And that one way long off the hand of Chelsea Bloom.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start for Lenoir-Rhyne, but we see him picking it up now. It just takes a couple rallies to really get into it for them, and once the energy starts for Braylon Faust, Taylor Prawl, it is hard to stop.
Not a great pass there by Williams, the libero, but oh, what a nice job there by Halsey to back tap. She knew right where the Cobras were. Now it's 10-6 Bears.
Yeah, Emma Clark gave her the look, said, you know what you did right there. That was a crafty play so far, and that's going to take us into a timeout.
Coker takes their first timeout. We'll go to our first break. 4-point lead for the Bears early on in set 1 on the Bears Sports Network.
Kia in Hickory. We want to see you driving a new Kia or, hey, a quality pre-owned Kia. We've got a huge selection of new and pre-owned Kias. You got to get to Paramount Kia in Hickory, Highway 70, ParamountKia.com.
Back here at the Shoe, after a slow start for the Bears, they've bounced back and hold a 4-point lead, 10-6 over Coker here in the first set. Eric Bach and Chris Rickenbaugh, happy to have you along with us here on this Thursday night. Second home match in 3 nights for the Bears. Braylon Faust serving out of the timeout. Coker called the timeout. A dig there by Faust. And it's just set up perfectly for Emma Clark there, the transfer from Georgia State.
Yeah, what we see on the court right now, lots of upperclassmen and seniors. Parkley Hennings is the only underclassman on the court, but a sophomore, and she played quite a bit last year. As you're going to see that serve go a little bit long, give it back to the Cobras. But lots of upperclassmen leadership and senior leadership on this team. And as we progress through the game, if Lenoir-Rhyne starts to get up by a lot, don't be it wouldn't be crazy to see a couple others come in, especially Anna Jordan, who played quite a bit last year as well. So maybe expect a couple different names in tonight.
Nice hit on the outside there by Emily Everton. She's the only one on Coker who earned any postseason recognition last year for the sack. She was honorable mention. Senior from Moore, South Carolina. Thomas with a big swing. And she has her second kill of this first set.
Yeah, Taylor Parker off the Cobras didn't want any of that. It was going to be right in the face. Did a smart thing and just got it out of the way.
Parker second on Coker in digs, Picks up one there. Combo block for Romp and Clark. Nice job there by Taylor Hills to get it through the white wall there at the net. Give it back to Coker, down 3 here in the first set. Romp decides to take a stationary swing at that one. Thomas again dug out of there nicely by Williams. That's where Romp thrived the other night, right in front of the referee there on that far side, and she continues that, gets the serve back for the Bears.
Yeah, Romp right now and the rest of the Bears being able to find the gaps in that Coker defense, and this is what I was talking about in pregame. They just have to let the Bears hit because they're going to be finding those gaps, and that's what we're seeing right now is Lenoir-Rhyne is starting to pull ahead a little bit.
Yes, Everton trying to keep Coker into this thing right now. She's got a couple kills in the last few points.
Serving for Coker, number 8, Emily.
And now she'll head back to serve, but back and forth we've been going these past few points. Nice dig there for Everton. And the same for Rachel Buick. If you have a chance, we'll take a look at LR Bears on Facebook to listen to the conversation her and I had today on Bears Talk Live. It was great. She was very open and candid as Romp picks up another kill. But Rachel Buick started her collegiate athletic career playing soccer at UNC Asheville. And here she is now serving. But her twin sister and her, both of them went to Asheville to play soccer, and her sister got hurt and then decided they coached some club volleyball in the summer, decided they both really were still attached to the game, both found homes at the D2 level playing volleyball. Rachel here in Hickory, obviously, since 2018. She's been here for 4 years now. Brawl with a hammer. Set her up perfectly straight in the middle of the net. It's 15-11 Bears here in the first.
Yeah, and going on about Rachel Buick, yeah, she has been here for the 4 years, and she's been playing, starting as libero for those 4 years, just being a dominant senior leader on the court, along with Taylor Prawl and Elena Thomas, who's been on the court for a long time. The Bears are going to pick up that point, moving the score to 16-11.
Parkley Hennings served that one. Played in all 5 sets. There's another one for TP. already has 5 kills, had 9 the whole match against Wingate. Obviously, their plan was to stop her, but she's hitting an even 500 right now here in this first set.
Yeah, Taylor Prawl not afraid to swing, and if I was a Coker defender, I wouldn't want to get in front of it either. That ball is coming with a lot of force as that block's going to go out of bounds.
Faust with the block, but just missed the gray line.
Taylor Prawl, along with her 5 kills, 5 digs as well. Not normally seeing her in that role.
Hawkins got handcuffed there by that serve. And Prawl picks up another kill. This one, a lot more touch. Usually it's power, but that time it was touch right in the middle of that Coker defense. The Bears are 7 points away from taking this first set. Thomas checks back in for Hawkins as Prawl will serve. Mishit that time by Lauren Loveday. And now a service ace for Prawl. It's the first one for the Bears and another timeout for Coker. What do you say right now if you're Travis Need to his team?
You know, there's not a whole lot to say. The Bears coming off a huge victory, playing with a lot of momentum. We saw a lot of dancing and excitement in the huddle for the last timeout, and we're seeing the same thing. The players just hyping each other up on the same page, and that's what you got to love if you're a Bears player in on this Lenoir-Rhyne team, because it's really up to their will right now, and they're finding all the gaps, not getting put in a box anywhere ahead in points. You're exactly where you need to be right now for the Bears.
I think that Mark Wimberly's jitters that he told me about before the game, about worried that the team wasn't very intense or ready to play tonight, I think that was just coaches being paranoid, because coaches are the most paranoid people on planet Earth. It seems like the Bears have come out very focused and businesslike tonight, at least to start. Things can change quickly. We saw that happen to Wingate before they played LR. They went up 2-0 on Tusculum and just at home just let the foot off the gas and let Tusculum win the last 3.
And something that I've noticed about this Bears team for the past couple years watching them, when we see the excitement go from 0 to 100, back down to 0, it's kind of a different game. They're not always quite on, and if they lose that point and it goes back to the other team, it goes from 100 to 0. And then when they score a point, 0 to 100. And right now we're seeing Lenoir-Rhyne play with that 50-50, just that focused tempo, and everybody's on the same page. And that's a scary Lenoir-Rhyne team, as they can do whatever they need to.
It's a combo block that time by Faust and Thomas. 20-12 Bears. Been all Lenoir-Rhyne here of late. Carson in desperation mode just had to save that one. That's a good kill there from Chelsea Bloom, the team leader.
Being able to find the gap in the Bears' defense, that's going to be pretty tough. You got to go for every single point you can, and you're not going to find a whole lot of gaps in the defense for the Bears. Loveday with the serve. Thomas with the strike over the net, and she's going to get that point for the Bears, putting them up 21-13 early in this first set. Coker looking a little bit sluggish to start out this first set. I would like to see a little bit more excitement from them.
Down to their final 4 points here in this first set. Here's a chance for Prawl from the back row. It's a little bit too low with that one.
Yeah, she could tell as soon as she hit it.
One of the things about Taylor Prawl is that, you know, she came into college athletics a lot like Buick, not planning on playing volleyball. You know, she was going to be a basketball player, a track athlete. There's a kill there for Clark on the outside. but she never played club volleyball. And Mark Wimberly said, like, pure volleyball IQ-wise, Taylor Prawl is not nearly the best, as far as IQ goes on the team, but she's so physically gifted and has worked so hard to turn herself into an all-conference volleyball player. That one just misses wide. The Bears are 2 points away from a win here in set number 1.
Yeah, Taylor came here to be a hurdler for the track team from Tip City, Ohio. Fun story. That's actually 45 minutes from where I lived out in the cornfields in Ohio.
Not far from the cornfields of Michigan where I lived, and it's now set point for the Bears as that one nips the backside.
Crowd starting to get into this one, making a little bit of noise.
Halsey serves for the set. Romp's been so good on that side of the net, both blocking and hitting. And there it is. First set to LR. They make quick work of it, 25-14, as the last hit goes long. But no hangover so far for the Bears. They take care of business in set number 1. We'll take a break as we wait for set number 2 from the shoe. Set number 2 here at the shoe. Quick one in the first. Bears took it 25-14 over Coker. Eric Bach and Chris Rickenbaugh here with you on the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing. But Chris, it was pretty businesslike for the Bears in that first set. A little bit of a sloppy start, but they dominated the middle and end of the set.
Absolutely, and that's what I was talking about during the first set, as seeing the team over the past couple years be able to go from 0 to 100 and then back to 0 between points and sets, winning and losing. Seeing this 50-50 team come out, this is what I've wanted to see from the Bears for a really long time, is just that quiet confidence, being able to come out and be businesslike and just get the job done. And I think that's what we're seeing here tonight.
It was the first kill from Emily Everton, who's now hitting .333 in this match. Honorable mention All-SAC a year ago. Or not even a year ago, a few months ago. Good diving there by Halsey. And a cross-court kill that time for Taylor Parker. Well done by her to find the line on this near side, hitting all the way across. Parker, a freshman from Monroe, North Carolina, went to Sun Valley High School. Here she is again. Tries to stay on the far side this time, and Prawl digs it out. Not a great pass, but a great play by Hawkins to keep it alive. And then a block for Emma Clark. Athleticism all around there for the Bears.
Yeah, 2 kills and for Emma Clark. Got one earlier in the game. Just kind of been quiet up along the front row.
Hawkins serves it. Bears talked about being more aggressive in their serving game the other night against Wingate as Prawl picks up another kill, her 7th of the match. But Mark Wimberly said he's okay with a few more service errors. That means getting some more production out of your serve aggressiveness-wise. There's Hawkins trying to pick something up there. Couple of diving plays, and Romp tips it over. Parker again, her 2nd kill of this 2nd set. Feels like Coker has to win this set to have a chance tonight.
Absolutely. Michaela Harris, the senior libero coming in for the Cobras. Coker really just needs to get something going right now. They need to put the Bears in a hole to where they're struggling, and you're seeing just kind of the lack of effort by the Cobras right now. Is that one, there was no reason even to chase it for Everton, and she saw that right away. And you're seeing the Bears diving all over the court and just going all out for that effort, and that's just not what I'm seeing from Coker as they get that last point.
Naomi Earl Reyes, the lefty with a good swing. It's 4-3 Cobras here in the 2nd set. Do apologize that we're having some technical difficulties with our score bug, but we'll get that up and running as soon as possible. 4-3 Coker. Ashley Carson comes in to serve. Another lefty swing there. Was dug for a moment by Harris, but none of the Cobras could get over there on the big hit from Romp. She's got 4 kills in the match now, and we're back even at 4 here in the 2nd set. Bears took the first set 25-14 and lead 1-0.
Taylor Prawl leading with kills with 8. Romp with 4. Clark with 2. And Elena Thomas with a sneaky 4 as well.
Gotta be a lift there, right? Tried to underhand it, did Chelsea Bloom. And there's a block right on the line by Faust. She's such a force in the middle, 6'1", from just down the road in Statesville.
She is the spark plug for this team. When they get a big hit, you know Braylon Faust is ready to celebrate, and she really gets the energy going for this team.
Not a great pass there by Hennings, led to Halsey being too close to the net to do anything with that one. We're back even at 5. Taylor Parker will serve it. Already has a couple of kills in this set. Prawl tips it. That was beautifully done as that one's on the ground. But it's the mark of a good outside hitter right there, Chris. Knowing when to go power, knowing when to go finesse, and TP's done both tonight.
Absolutely, and this kind of a slower game to know Lenoir-Rhyne is coming in with the edge. You're seeing this Lenoir-Rhyne team just kind of touch some things up and really try and work on the details as you're seeing Taylor Prawl with the finesse on the line with Colette Romp and Mackenzie Holsey. you're just seeing Lenoir-Rhyne clean some things up and work on a few things in the game.
7-5 Bears now as that hit went long for the Cobras. And another ace for Prahl. She says, oops, I don't think she'd meant to do that at all. Just kind of floated on her to the back line, but it worked out. Second ace serving for her. She has both of the Bear aces, and now it's an 8-5 lead for LR here in the second set. Big swing there by Chelsea Bloom. Another kill for Everton. Only came in with 22 kills, but has 8 tonight. She's just one behind Prahl for the game lead in kills. She's hitting .316.
Everton is pretty sneaky as well. 16 kills in her season high against UNC Pembroke. So don't be shocked if she gets up there. She could be a leading scorer for this team.
Faust picks up another. Was her second kill of the night. It's 9-6 Bears, second set. Another one for Everton. Gosh, I wouldn't set it to anyone else if I was Coker. She's got 9 kills now.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Remy Mullen, who started the game, one of the setters, comes in to serve. Prahl decides to go with the soft hit there. And Earl Reyes is into the net. Right back to the Bears, who lead it now 10-7 in the second set.
And something we're seeing tallying up for the Cobras is the errors. They're 9 total on the night so far, and Reyes has 3 of them.
Everton again. She's into double-digit kills now with 10. The honorable mention all-sack outside hitter a year ago had 13 kills against LR in their match in the spring. And is on pace to go way past that mark tonight. Romp with a big swing.
Emma Clark down there, a transfer from Georgia State University. A new name to this Lenoir-Rhyne team. Fitting in really, really well with Romp and Holsey.
Couple of Bears combined on that dig. And it was 4 hits because it went off of Hawkins and then off of Buick. So Holsey didn't have a choice but to just try to pop it over, but that was the 4th hit.
Yeah, I believe Buick got under and it hit Hawkins right in the face.
It did. It went off of Hawkinson's cheek and then Buick's shoulder. Nice diving stop there by Parker. And then Earl Reyes comes up with the kill. She's got 3 of them now. It's a 1-point Bear lead here in the second set, 11-10. LR took the first set, 25-14. Hammer time there for Halsey, set up perfectly. Saw the Bears practicing that exact move earlier today, and it pays off there for Halsey. Hawkins with a beautiful dig. Everton almost picked up a kill from the back row there. But Coker very much in the scramble defensive mode as Parker goes about a mile long with that hit.
So even though the Cobras didn't get that point, we're starting to see a little bit of energy. Only down 3 in the second set, and you're starting to see them come to life, just a little bit more energetic which we wanted to see in the first set. But you're starting to see them move a little bit more as they pick up that extra point. And Coker having a little bit of a fire here.
Score is 13-11 as Loveday checks back in, along with Ashley Carson, who will serve for the Cobras. Carson from Ord, Nebraska. Came here from McCook Community College, which is a well-known JUCO in the Midwest. Got a lot of different high-level sports. Another kill there for Parker. Picks up her third. Lead is just one for the Bears here in the second. But I agree with you. The Coker looks like they've woken up a little bit here in the second set. Faust just long.
Yeah, and that excitement's keeping them in the game, tied at 13 now. Reyes with 3 kills, but Everton leading with a total of 10. Leading the game, actually.
One ahead of Prawl, who has 9. That one looked like it was on the ground, but apparently not. A great save by Coker. But then they mess it up. You got to find a way to win the point if you have a diving stop that you pull off the floor there. Cobras are not able to do that, so side out and back to the Bears, and Parkley Hennings will serve it.
I believe it caught both teams off guard. She got her hand flat to the floor right under the ball.
Buick in perfect position for that dig. And then it finds the floor. Hawkins kind of fake celebrates that kill. She was helped out by the net, but she'll take it. Bears are up by 2 again. Parker has been effective on that outside. Her and Everton are the 2 reasons why Coker's even in this set. Now Parker will go back and serve.
And sometimes you need that from a team, especially when you start to get down or you're having that streak of 4 losses. You need that one player to really step up, and we're seeing Everton do that tonight with her 10 kills. 11 digs as well, so she's been all over the court, really putting it in for this Coker team.
Parker's got 4 kills tonight, came in with 19 in the first 5 games. Thomas tries to hit the bad pass over there, but can't. Henning's not quite in position to dig that one out. Back and forth we go. It's a 1-point game here in the second set. Faust with a big swing, and it ends up on the ground. If she can just wind it up right there in the middle, it's almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, Faust and Taylor Prawl coming in with the big paw. And, man, I wouldn't want to get in front of that.
Nope. Sounds like a broken nose waiting to happen. And then she serves it into the net. But again, as I mentioned earlier, Mark Wimberly is okay with that. As long as, you don't want to make too many service errors, but as long as it's in the name of aggression, which I think it was there for Faust. 17-16 is the score. Thomas used the top of the net, and it ends up in favor of the Bears.
Serving for the Bears, number 24, Mackenzie Holsey.
That one's outside the needle. Goes right back to the Bears.
Timeout, Coker.
And another timeout for Coker. They know that they have to find a way to come back in this second set. We'll see if they can after this break on the Bears Sports Network.
And a hometown prize.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Back here at the Shoe, 19-16 Bears in the second set. They already took the first and are trying to go up 2-0. Eric Bach and Chris Rickenbaugh here with you on the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing. Halsey serves out of the timeout. Everton, who's had a really nice game, doesn't come up with one there, as that's 4 hits on the Cobras.
Yeah, game leading, 10 kills. Taylor Prawl right behind her with 9, matching her Tuesday performance and kills.
What a block there by Romp that finds the line. The Bears are up 5 again. Thomas on the outside. It was a nice job there by Parker to avoid it. Looked like it almost maybe grazed her shoulder, and it did, yeah. They called it. The line judge there on the far side didn't see it, but the official here on the floor in front of the scores table did. I thought it maybe hit her shoulder, and that's what they saw. So 22-16, another kill for Thomas.
Great dig by Buick. Slam by Emma Clark. Bears 23-16 as another timeout by Coker. And we're going to stay here for this one. Coker did a really good job through the beginning and middle half of this set, keeping it close, staying in the game and starting to bring a little bit of energy. But after that timeout, we just kind of saw what we saw in the first set, with them just coming out a little bit flat and just not being in it, and that ball just grazing the shoulder, that has to hurt, knowing you could be clawing yourself back into the game.
Student section has filled out there on the left side of your screen. That group was absolutely rocking on Tuesday night when Wingate was in here. Can't ask for much more if you're a volleyball fan than that match on Tuesday night. An epic 5-setter that saw it go back and forth. Saw the Bears win the last 2 sets. 2 points away from winning the first 2 sets tonight.
Seeing Rachel Wildermuth come into the game for the first time, a freshman from Tip City, Ohio. Same school and town as Taylor Prawl. See what this matchup and duo can do.
She served. One Tip City native sets up another. And it ends up as a kill for Thomas.
Match point here for the Bears. One more to take the second set.
Set point. Not match point. Not quite yet. There it is. A block by Thomas sends the Bears to a 2-0 lead here at home. Taking care of their business. See if they can complete the sweep when we come back to the Shoe on the Bears Sports Network.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found an expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Two sets to none for the Bears over Coker here at Schufert Gymnasium. It's a pretty upbeat looking group right there. 30 kills for the Bears to 21 for the Cobras. But the big number to me, Chris, only 6 errors for the Bears against 15 for the Cobras.
Yeah, and I had it on my list tonight just to limit errors. The other night against Wingate, 22 total. They did have 5 sets, but still 22 is a really, really big number. So we've seen through the first 2 sets just kind of cleaning things up, of kind of a more relaxed and easygoing Bears team tonight. You can see them dancing in the huddle right now. Just a little bit more relaxed, and expect to see a couple new faces through this third set if the Bears start to take control of the game. We've already seen Wildermuth come in, freshman from Tip City, Ohio. So expect to see a couple new names, new faces as this season starts to wear on, and kind of a more relaxing game than Tuesday night for the Bears. Able to clean some things up. Swinging big, Taylor Prawl, 9 kills on the night. Colette Romp with 7, Clark with 3, and Elena Thomas with a sneaky 6.
She had a really nice game Tuesday night as well. There's no eye-popping numbers on the stat sheet, but she was very effective, putting a lot of pressure on Wingate.
And you can see in the kill attempts, Taylor Prawl 22 and Romp 19, letting them swing.
So Coker will start serving here in the third. Do or die for the Cobras. Amy Mullen will start for the serve. Hawkins mishits it. You just got to bump it over. Colette Romp. I saw her before the game. That was beautifully done there by Everton. Her 11th kill of the night. I saw Colette Romp. She got a yellow card on Tuesday night. It was the same referee on the chair that we had Tuesday night. And I saw them talking before the game. I think she went and apologized to him. He was not worried about it. Romp with a nice swing and a kill there. Seemed like he had moved on for sure, but it was a good thing to do for Colette to just, you don't want, especially when you have a referee 2 games in a row, you don't want somebody to hold something against you. I don't think the referee would have either way, but it's a smart move by Colette.
Yeah. As a referee, you got to have thick skin. Getting yelled at all the time by the
Which
fans,
I'm not saying
players.
This referee doesn't have thick skin, but
no.
It's just, it was a good thing to do for Colette, I think.
Absolutely.
Serve is long from Hawkins, even at 2 here in the third. But the only person Everton's hitting percentage is back down to .097. Parker's hitting .429, but other than that, everyone else in the negatives for Coker. Earl Reyes gets one there. It's her 4th of the match. She's got a nice lefty swing here from that near side. Romp long with that one. Bit of a sloppy start for the Bears here in the 3rd.
We've seen that through pretty much the past 2 sets where they just get behind early. Nothing big. Just look a little bit off. And then when the points get to about 6 to 7, we see them really kick in.
Emma Clark bails out the Bears there. That was not a good set that she just contorted her body in midair to save it and ended up with a kill out of it. Faust met Reyes at the net there. And Prawl way long. Shouldn't say way long, way outside with that hit.
Souvenir for the student section.
Serving for Coker, number 5, Michaela Harris.
Harris serves it. Senior from Arvada, Colorado goes long. She transferred in from Wheeling University. Hennings comes in to serve. But it's hard to overstate the job that Mark Wimberly has done here in the early going of this season. You know, his coaching change right at the 11th hour. Faust gets blocked there by Parker, and it turns into a Cobra point. But for Wimberly to just so willingly step up and say, yeah, I'll take this team. It was too late. It was too late for Kim Pate, athletic director, to really have any chance of finding a coach, because all the coaches have their other teams they're about to start the season. And I mean, Wimberly's more than qualified and has shown that here in the early going, but it was basically him or nobody is what I'm trying to say, is that kill or that hit was outside by the Cobras back to the Bears. But he's provided a lot of stability. I know that Taylor Prawl, who you see there, and Buick and Mash, all the seniors that have come back, it would have been such a sour way to start the season had Wimberly not stuck around, you know?
Yeah, and after such an unprecedented year last year, it was really interesting to see how the teams would come back, because it's really nobody looked like themselves. Every team through the season, basketball, volleyball, really any sport. And now this year, with a full summer of training and camp, we're really going to see what the teams are made of and what they had been working on for the entire summer.
It's a little run here for Coker, as that's another block at the net. That one by Everton. Cobras have their largest lead of the match tonight. 8-5 here in the 3rd, trying to hang on and force a 4th set. You know, the Bears just want to get this thing done after playing 3 5-set matches in a row. A lot of high pressure the last 2 matches in Florida. Obviously, Tuesday night against Wingate was a lot of pressure, but to just kind of give yourself an easy night and get out of here in 3 has got to be what the Bears are thinking right now.
Yeah, and Coker hasn't had quite an easy schedule either. They had a really big tournament, playing 3 games, one on a Friday and then back-to-back on a Saturday. So Coker's really trying to figure themselves out. And tonight, I think they took a really, really big step towards that, as you see Everton with 11 kills so far on the night and going for another one.
Thomas cross court gets dug out by Harris. And Parker benefited from the net there. We saw Hawkins do the same earlier on the Bears side, but Bounces going Coker's way right now. It's still a 3-point lead for the Cobras. And the Bears will call their first time out of the night, trying to regroup and come back here in the third set. We'll take a short break on the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Break great with Carolina West Wireless. Great new phones and a great customer experience, all on our great nationwide high-speed network. Stop by today and get big savings on select Samsung smartphones, like $350 off the Samsung Galaxy S20 and S20 Plus, and $350 off the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra. The great savings continue with 4 lines of unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. Celebrate great savings and go stay connected wherever your travels take you.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Out of the timeout, Chelsea Bloom serves for Coker. 3-point lead for the Cobras. Ooh, and a big block there by Everton. And she's maybe been the best player on the floor tonight.
Absolutely been the best player. Taking 32 total attempts, hitting for 11, coming up with that block there. That's only their second of the night. She's really been a huge player for them tonight, up 4. We're seeing what Coker has right now. See if this Lenoir-Rhyne team can respond.
Halsey takes advantage of that deflection by her teammates. That was a smart play there. She knew the Coker defense wasn't set up the way they wanted it to be, and she took advantage. Now she'll serve it. That one outside the line. Just like that, as soon as Coker has a little bit of a run going, Bears answer right back. Now only down 2, 10-8. Everton again. How many times can that exact scenario happen? She's certainly making a case to be much more than honorable mention all SAC.
Absolutely. She has games here and there. Like I said, she had the big 16-kill game versus UNC Pembroke.
She's got 12 of them right now. That serve went too long for Coker. Just absolutely cannot have any type of service error right now if you're the Cobras. Buick able to dig out Everton that time. Then Earl Reyes into the net. The lead is back to 1, 11-10.
Something big that's popping off the stat sheet for me on this Cobras team is 20 errors tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have to redo this. One of the ball retrievers down there rolled it, or maybe somebody in the student section rolled that ball during play, and one of the Coker players came dangerously close to it there on the outside. That was almost a really dangerous play, so they're going to reserve it. But it's glad that no one from Coker got hurt there. That one would have been long. Harris decided to save it. That wasn't a wise move, and we're all square at 11 here in the third.
This is what we needed to see from this LR team. They were down 4 into that timeout, and just clawing themselves back into it, evened up now.
Everton now on the near side. And Emma Clark has another kill. It's her 5th. 9 for Prawl, 7 for Romp, 5 for Clark, 6 for Thomas, 3 for Faust, and 1 for Halsey. Bears have their first lead of this third set. We'll step aside quickly here on the Bears Sports Network. First Bear lead of this third set, 12-11, trying to sweep Coker tonight. Second conference home match in 3 nights. Have the weekend off, back home again on Tuesday against Mars Hill. It's been quite the stretch for the Bears. Played 4 matches in Florida last weekend. 2 home matches this week. Somebody was in the net. I think it was Emma Clark. It was. We're all square at 12 as Coker gets side out and the serve back.
Lenoir-Rhyne really in a solid position right now, controlling this game. Even though it's all tied up in this set, we've seen what they've been able to do in the last 2 and Tuesday night. So you know they're not panicking right now.
Clark with a big swing on the short set. And Parker ends up with a kill, a pretty unconventional kill there, but she took the bad set and popped it with her left hand. The Bears just weren't in position. Prawl, she hasn't had a kill this set yet. Buick's not able to come up with that one, and it's back to a 2-point lead for Coker.
Yeah, you said Taylor Prawl has been pretty quiet in these past couple sets. Only 9 kills on the night. Still pretty good.
She's been at 9 forever.
Yeah, just a very diverse player. She's had a lot more digs and just kind of been all the way around the court, helping where she needs to be.
Others have picked up the slack, though, and Emma Clark, who just picked up that kill, is one of them. She's got 6 for the match now. But this is just like the Wingate game. The kills are pretty spread out. It's not one person just doing all the work for the Bears, which is a good sign. It's a sign of depth and skill. That was Parker in the net for Coker and the point to LR.
Yeah, like you were saying, a little bit more spread out. I can remember 2 years ago where Taylor Prawl would have 21 kills and the next would have about 5 or 6. So it's really, really good to see all the numbers kind of spread out, because I think that's going to make it more of an effective team down the line. Say if there's an injury down the line, there's a lot of people that are able to step in and get the job done instead of just one player.
It was also probably before Prawl had really established herself as one of the best players in this league, too. You know, she's been first team all-conference the last 2 years in that 2019 season and then the spring season. That one hits the spire there, and it's 16-14 Coker now. Trying to salvage a set here tonight. There's Prawl's 10th kill. It was a knuckleball off her fist there that just spun away like she threw a slider from the pitching mound there that just dove off the table. She's into double digits now. She's got 72 kills in 6 matches this year. Big swing there from Bloom, but dug out by Hawkins. And Prawl's not close. Back and forth we go. This has the makings of a pretty close set as we go down the stretch here with Coker up 2.
This is where Coker needs to take advantage right now. Chelsea Bloom, I had her marked as Coker's best player coming into tonight, and she said a very, very quiet night, 3 kills, 4 digs, just very quiet and uncharacteristic.
Halsey way out of bounds with the block there. Prawl ends up with a kill there as just takes some off. It's a big point for the Bears to get it back. Getting kind of late in the set. Could use a nice long serving run here from TP.
I feel like Lenoir-Rhyne's hoping for that too. They've definitely been a lot more aggressive with the serves though. Having 3 aces on the night. Not a huge number, but just a little bit more aggressive, trying some different things out.
Faust rejected by Parker. Haven't heard much from her in this set. Parker not close, and the lead is back to 1. Doesn't the new floor just look so good, Chris?
Yeah, after seeing this gym for the past couple years, it's definitely got a new look to it.
A new shoe smell,
oh,
as they say.
Oh, that was clever right there.
Well, I can't pretend like I came up with it. I think head men's basketball coach Everett Sullivan is the one that coined that phrase. So
that sounds like something he would say.
Shout out Coach Sully. I can't take credit for his social media hashtag. I think the Cobras were out of rotation there. That's what was called. So we're all square at 18. Parker hammers one. Gives Coker the lead and the serve right back. She's played pretty well tonight. Faust with a block off the shoulder of Everett. 19-19, this much closer than the first 2 sets. 6'1" middle blocker Faust serves it. Just barely grazes it over the net. Clark with a big hit, but 4 hits for the Cobras. I was going to say, that seemed like a lot of hits, and it was.
Yeah, Lenoir-Rhyne started celebrating a little bit early and then kept going, but yeah, that one's going to go to the Bears, 20-19. Just clawed their way back into this one, see if they can finish it out.
No pun intended. Bears clawing their way back in. I see what you're doing there.
I didn't
I
try
see what
for
you're
that.
doing there, Chris.
I didn't try for that one.
20-20 now. Chelsea Bloom will serve it. Oh, what a tip.
Wow.
Third time tonight Mackenzie Halsey's done that. She's caught the Cobras napping defensively. That's a big point in this set.
Yeah, something I had circled coming into this game that I've seen. The setters need to be creative, and that's exactly what Mackenzie Halsey's doing. We've seen it to where they've been able to shut down the hitters, and the setters really have to go out there and score points, and that's just not very effective overall for the team. But when Mackenzie Halsey can do that, the hitters are playing very, very well. Little sly moves like that by Mackenzie Halsey, that can really be beneficial for the team.
Bears 3 points away from a sweep here tonight. We'll take a short break on the Bears Sports Network presented by NBA Roofing. Back here at Schuford Gymnasium. LR 3 points away from a clean sweep of Coker tonight. 22-20, Bears over the Cobras in the third set. Bears had played 3 5-set matches in a row trying to make quick work of the Cobras tonight. Mackenzie Halsey will serve. Setter, who was second on the team in assists in the spring. There's a nice tip. Everton tried to push that one over. Was successful. Thomas into the net. So a little bit of an opening here for Coker, down 2 with the serve back. A couple of their big hitters coming in.
Emma Clark hitting .462 on the night. Elena Thomas hitting .333 as well. Hitting really nice today. Really effective.
Great dig there from Halsey to get on all fours. Everton, another kill. Her game high 13th. Matches the total that she had last year against the Bears. Last season, I should say. And the Cobras are within 1, trying to send this thing to a 4th set. Room for error here for Coker is 0. And Everton makes one. And now match point for the Bears.
You can see the money sign up from the students section. That's a nod to the lifting coach. Money set.
Hawkins serves. Everton. Bears have played 3 5-set matches in a row. And tonight, they still are playing in this third set. Nice block there. I believe that was Earl Reyes. Everton gets the serve back. Remember, have to win by 2. Brawl just wide. Student section can't believe it.
And they're letting him hear about it.
Looked close. Hard for us to see from where we are up here, camera level. But to Coker's credit, they fought it back to even at 24. That one in, they say.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, my. Timeout, Mark Wimberly. Those are 2 calls from the line judge in a row that go against the Bears. Wow.
Yeah.
Coker trying to take this third set. They've got set point coming up when you come back to the Shoe on the Bears Sports Network.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours.
Cut it. Cut the commercial. There we go. And we're back. And it ends up a set victory for Coker. How about that? They come back. They were down by 4 points late and come all the way back to take this third set. So the 3-set victory that the Bears wanted did not come to fruition tonight. We'll play a 4th set when you come back to the Shoe here on the Bears Sports Network. perhaps an unexpected fourth set here at the Shoe. Bears got to feel like they let the end of that third set get away from them, Chris.
Yeah, they got a little bit lazy in their play, and Coker was able to just find a couple gaps, and that was really the name of the game right in the end of that third set. So I believe the Bears will come out with a little bit more intensity coming out in this fourth set. They were behind a little bit early, and we could just see that play throughout the entire third set. So we'll see how energized the Bears come out in this fourth.
Certainly don't want to let this get to 5.
Yeah,
but the Bears, they have a lot of experience playing 5-set matches. There's another kill for Everton. Emily Everton has been phenomenal tonight. That's her 14th kill.
If you ever have a second and watching the game, just watch the effort by Rachel Buick. She is all over the court, diving, rolling.
Crawl. That one's in. Her 12th kill of the night. Gets the serve right back for the Bears.
Serving for the Bears, number 6, Ashley Hawkins.
Yeah, whatever happened as Clark bangs that one down. The Bears just let up a point too early. All they needed was one more in that third.
Yeah, they look just a little bit too comfortable. You can see the intensity is ramped up a little bit now. Coker's going to get that point, but yeah, you can see the intensity is ramped up for both teams because now Coker, they're in the game. They got one on the board. They want to take it to a 5th.
Ooh, it's the first set Coker has won in conference play this year. Bears have won 5 straight in this series. In 18 out of 21 overall meetings. There's another tip by Clark. We're back even at 3 here in set number 4. Bears Talk Live happens at Blowing Rock Draft House, and Rachel Buick is also a waitress there at the Draft House. Brawl. Just send 2 defenders at her all the time. Somebody was in the net. Not sure who. Might have been Faust.
Yeah, they all the Bears look kind of confused on that one.
Serving for Coker, number 13, Ashley Carson.
So Carson will serve it. Nebraska native. That would have been long if Hawkins would have let it go. Brawl tips it. Beautiful. 13th kill. Her hitting numbers are getting better now. Up to 257 after that one. If you hit 257 in the major leagues, you're going to play for a really long time. Faust.
Ooh, with the dunk.
Takes advantage of the mistake there by Coker, and you said it. Just dunked it right in.
Using all of her height on that one.
Not even close there from Hennings on the serve. Prahl has maybe gone towards the softer hit route tonight than she has tried to smash it. Could be a product of them sending so many defenders to her. Hawkins spins around and can't believe that worked out. It did. It's a Bear lead again, 6-5.
Yeah, talking about Prahl taking some easier hits. We saw that a lot last year out of her, to where the new offensive style that the Bears put in, it had her taking a couple more rolling shots instead of the big or coming down with the hammer. And we're seeing a pretty good mix of that this year.
Chelsea Bloom. Can't let her get hot if you're the Bears. They've already had plenty of trouble with Everton. Don't want Bloom to start getting hot. Now she serves. Halsey with a great effort play to keep that one alive. Thomas mishits. Back to Coker. Would have been really easy for the Cobras to just fold right over at the end there, but to their credit, they did not. Here we are in the fourth set with Coker having the lead and serving. Called that one a double hit on, I believe that was Halsey there. First one of those we've seen tonight.
I was a bit confused on that one. I didn't see it, but
must have just been a bad set. Combo block there for Everton and Carson Fuller. First time I've said Fuller's name tonight. Junior middle blocker from Wilmington, NC. One of my favorite towns on planet Earth, by the way. Look at Coker up 3, trying to even this match up here in the fourth. We'll take a short break as the Bears try to regroup on the Bears Sports Network.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Momentum is as important a factor as anything in volleyball. And right now, Coker has all of it. They finished the third set on a 5-0 run to win that set. And now here they are up 9-6 in the fourth, trying to force a fifth here on the road.
Yeah, that was a double right there.
It had to be, right? It is. Or a lift. Whatever it wasn't legal. They do officially call it a lift there on Ashley Carson.
We've seen Lenoir-Rhyne get into this position a couple times, down 2 or 3 points, and we've seen them able to rally back either right away or eventually throughout the set. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they take charge here and really try and get on a run. But Coker's playing really well right now.
They are. And Thomas got rejected and then dug out there by Prahl. Halsey's had success with that back tip. Didn't have it there, and that one's long off the hand of Everton. One of the few mistakes she's made tonight. The lead is down to 1. Faust goes long on the serve. But earlier in the game, Coker probably would have returned that, as opposed to now they're just playing sharper, smarter. They have the momentum, as I mentioned.
Yeah, they're definitely energized now. We saw it kind of mid-second set to where they got a little bit of energy, got on a little bit of a run, and then that third set, they took it right in the end, stayed in it the entire time, and were able to take it, and now they're into the game. It's don't be surprised if they take this into a fifth set. It's going to come down to the final couple points here in the fourth.
This is not how the Bears envisioned this going, the way things were going in that third set. Clark with a kill, and we're back even at 10. She's been great tonight. Her 8th kill. She's hitting over 250.
Yeah, the transfer having a great night.
Ooh, big hammer there by Alana Thomas. Somebody on Coker was in the net anyway, but it would have been a kill. And now the Bears are in front. It's 11-10. Just a misplay there. And now timeout Coker after the Bears have scored 3 in a row. Cobras have to regroup now. You feel, that momentum we were talking about, Chris? I think it's shifted back the other way.
It definitely has shifted in the other way as we've seen the Bears go to on a 3-1 run in points. And Taylor Prawl's getting hot. A couple big hits. Elena Thomas with 8 kills on the night. Taylor Prawl, 13 kills. But the leading scorer tonight has been Everton on the Coker side with 14. She's been a little bit quiet lately. She got 17 digs as well. And Chelsea Bloom has just not really shown up for the Cobras, and but they're still in it. Everybody's contributing. Earl Reyes has 10 kills on the night. Really, everybody's contributing. It's been a full team effort on both sides tonight.
Travis Need, the head coach for Coker, has got to be very happy with his team's unwillingness to quit tonight. That's for sure. Be easy the way that their season has started and the way that tonight started for the Cobras to just lay right over, but they laid that one up for Colette Romp. She didn't miss it. It's her 9th kill of the night. That's second on the Bears to Prawl. And then a misplay on the serve. Things teetering on the brink right now for Coker. They've got to figure it out sooner rather than later if they want to send this thing to a fifth set.
Talking about being more effective and aggressive on the serve. 5 aces tonight total for the Bears compared to Coker's 0.
Everton goes long. She's had a good game, but the hitting percentage isn't great. Now she's at .02.
Yeah, when you have almost 50 attempts.
Yeah, she's been the main hitter that Coker has played through, that's for sure. That was almost saved as multiple Bears were on the ground, but it ended up being a put down for Carson Fuller of Coker. Off the side of Halsey's head, I think.
Yeah, it was off the noggin of Halsey and just couldn't quite get under it.
Isn't noggin such a great word?
I think it's an older.
It is.
Older
Where
term.
did that come from? Clark, another. She's near double digits now. That's her 9th kill. But she's hitting over 360 now tonight. And that leads the Bears. Hawkins serving. Earl Reyes wide. Errors are starting to pile up here for the Cobras in the 4th set. And another timeout. Trying to stop the bleeding is Coker. We'll see if they can do it when we come back to the shoe.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Six-point lead for the Bears here in the fourth set. Trying to close out Coker tonight. A pesky Coker team that just will not go away. The second floor of that beautiful brand new floor here. Second game, rather, not the second floor. Here in Schuford Gymnasium. A kill for Taylor Parker. She's near double digits. That's number 9 for her. The lead is back to 5. Couple of nice plays there on the front side by Bloom. Prawl tips. Diving stop made by Mullen. And it ends up a Coker point. Saw multiple different Cobras sacrifice their body there, and it paid off.
Yeah, total team effort, as we were talking about earlier. Coker's really just come out now ever since about the middle of the second set. That was close to a double right there.
It was close maybe to a lift, too.
I think it counted because of the block first.
Prawl hammers that one, but it stays alive. Wow. It ends up, they call it a lift. I didn't hear the whistle. It's the same deal that we had the other night, that these officials, they have their masks on, so they're not using regular whistles. They're using those electronic whistles, and with any type of crowd noise, it's next to impossible to hear the whistle. So Travis Need is arguing with the referee about that call. It would have been a Bear point anyway because the tap went long the other way, so I don't know why Need is spending all that time arguing because the result was the same. Romp didn't get a great set there. Prawl. This is when she starts to take over games, and when she's just relentless on the outside. You can game plan for her, but once you reach 4th and 5th sets of matches, she just becomes a lot to deal with.
Yeah, just tied Everton for the most kills in the game at 14.
Faust picks up a big one. The Bears are 5 points away.
This Bears team is rolling right now. We talked about them being able to finish out the game. We know they can do it in the 5th set, but they want to get it done now, and I think they were just a little bit too relaxed in that 3rd set and let Coker get one. And now they're coming in with the energy and with the heat, and we're seeing that now up 7 points in the 4th set.
Prawl again, but outside the needle there. So back to Coker. (2014) the score. Ashley Carson, the Nebraskan, will serve it. That one almost ended up in the lap of the student section, but saved by Coker. Faust drops it in beautifully. Took just enough off where she wasn't going to absolutely hammer it, because if she took the full swing there, I think it would have been long.
I think she thought about it too. That's going to be her 7th kill of the night, and you could tell she winded up and was ready for it, but held back.
Bears up a touchdown, 21-14 here in the 4th. Parker needed that one and didn't get it. Things teetering here for Coker. Nice dig by Hawkins on Bloom's hit. We'll try it again. Almost saved with the leg there by Hennings, but Coker able to get the kill and the point.
Serving for Coker, number 10, Taylor Porker.
This is eerily similar to the third set, Chris. Just when it looked like the Bears were about to pull away and win, Coker comes right back, picking up some momentum.
Yeah, it's still a 6-point gap, but the Bears definitely want to try and close that out as soon as they can and not let them get back into the game.
A turn to Taylor Prawl. A mistake there from Coker can ill afford any errors at this point in the match. Got to make the Bears make the errors, and they didn't do it there. So Taylor Prawl will serve it, 2 points away from the Bears' second conference victory in 3 nights here at the Shoe. And in is Everton. She has just been crafty there on the outside. Her 16th kill to lead all players. Prawl's got 15, and now Everton has 16. And Bloom will serve it. Fouls, almost tipped it. Gets blocked there. Right back into the face of Rachel Wildermuth. This is a big spot for her to be playing in. Rachel hadn't seen a lot of playing time as a freshman, but here in the end of the fourth set in crunch time. Good save by Prawl. Still a 5-point lead for the Bears here late in the fourth.
Ooh.
And now a match point coming up. Rachel Wildermuth with a nice play there.
The coach has to have a lot of faith in the freshman to be putting her out in a time like this, but there's not even a better time to put her in, especially in a game time decision like this. Up a couple points. Let's put her in, put the pressure on her, see how she responds.
So far, so good. Match point again for the Bears. Staying alive again is Coker. Everton with another kill.
Going to have to go on a 5-point run to stay in this one.
Ramey Mullen. Setter serves. Thomas ends it. Bears will tell you it should have taken 3. It took 4. But Lenoir-Rhyne has their second conference home win of the week here at the Shoe. 3-1 over Coker. Have any final thoughts of the night, Chris?
We saw we didn't really see 2 different teams come out. We saw one Lenoir-Rhyne team, and they didn't have the energy that we've seen before to where it's 0 to 100 and then the other team scores and it's right back down. We saw a really even team, and that's what I've always wanted to see from this Bears team, is just play an entire set. Now they did get a little bit too relaxed there in the third set and let Coker take one, and they'll fix that and go over it in the film room. But I really saw a lot of what I liked from this Bears team and something that I haven't seen so far at my time here.
Bears 2-0 in the conference. Back in action next week, next Tuesday, right back here at the Shoe. Taking on Mars Hill. Take the weekend off and regroup and get some much-needed rest and hopefully come back swinging here against Mars Hill on Tuesday night. For Chris Rickenbaugh and the rest of our crew, I'm Eric Bach. So long from the Shoe. Bears a winner tonight, 3-1 over Coker.